It started with a simple newspaper headline about a boy who gets killed for writing a love letter. And I wrote a script, a first draft, and I applied to NMDC's Screenwriters Lab. I got selected, and that's where I met Anir. And it was very early. The film that we shot, that was 10th draft, and but Anir happened to read the first draft very early. It was 2010, and he told me then and there that he would like to explore the possibilities to work together and produce a film. So, though it's inspired from a real incident, it's not a documentary film or it's not a reconstruction of the real incident. What I have rather done is use a creative device. So instead of exploring the incident, I wanted to explore the society. I didn't want to narrate the incident that happened.
Yeah, like you mentioned, I read the script, and soon after Locarno, actually at the airport, he told me that would you like to read the script after we finished the lab, and it was also coincidental that I was in the same lab with my script, and we both had the same mentor. And I read the script, really liked it, immediately shared it with Sanjay, saying that, do you think that we should do the film? And he loved it equally and immediately fascinated. And for us, right from the beginning, when we started making films together, my brother Nikhil, it's always been that we want to do films that we believe in, the kind of films we like watching, the kind of, so there is a certain, for us, the story should excite, and maybe it's not the wise thing to do, but it's become a habit that we think of the economics later. We first decide to make the film and then go about trying to make it, and I think in a way, in our own little way, it's always worked. Everyone refused to make My Brother Nikhil, but because we believed in it, it happened. Everyone refused to make I Am, and we crowdfunded and made the film. Similarly, Chauranga was not an easy film, but we believed in it, and we had told because it's going to take time also. We don't know where we are going to get the money from, but we want to do it. And I remember having put a deadline at the end of it that in the next 15 days, if it does not happen, you can take it. And it happened. So I feel that if you really, if you love a story, you'll find ways of telling it.
Anir and I produced together, so journey started with My Brother Nikhil. We made Sorry Bhai, we made I Am, and after that now Chauranga, and there are two more films which are in post-production. And but I'm just going to digress a bit on the earlier question. I think we belong to more out of the box India rather than box office India. But we're happy that we're here, and it's always not money is an important part of it, but that is never a deciding factor to get attached to a film. So just going back a little, when Anir discovered the script at the script lab, and one of our other projects which Anir was writing, Shab and Chauranga both were in the same lab, and that's where he discovered it. He mailed me, I think they were in Locarno that time. He mailed me the script. I equally loved it, but then we wanted to meet Vikas and understand his vision, and his level of patience had to be sort of evaluated, because we did tell him, I think Anir had told him that we'll make it happen, but you need to be patient. And then when it got made, it won the best film at Mami last year, it won the best film at IFLA Los Angeles, Grand Jury Prize. So there has been different milestone for this film. Hopefully it will get written in box office India. Or at least a mention.
For making the out of the box. Actually Sanjay and Anir has been a friend for a very long time, and we always thought of doing something together. And then one day, Anir called and said that, I'm not directing this film, but there's a script which I think is really good, and Vikas is directing it, so would you like to read it? And I read it, I liked it, and I met Vikas. And we just did the film. But I had a great time in Shantiniketan shooting the film. I was treated to the best Bengali food. And I had a lot of fun with all my co-actors, and my director and my producers were great friends. It was really beautiful. We shot in a pristine, beautiful village. Our villages are so stunning. So I'm very glad that I did the film, and I had a great time shooting. And in spite of the fact that these films are difficult to make and they're very difficult to release, what I really appreciate about Sanjay and Anir, that with all their films, they make it a point that they have a good release, and that's what we're expecting out of Chauranga also. And the fact that Sanjay already mentioned that we've won all these awards in Mummy in Los Angeles, that gives it a validation, because there are a lot of independent films that are getting made. But in today's time, Mummy is probably one of the best Indian festivals, and to win the Best Film Award there is not a small thing. So it already gets that validation that it's not just another independent film. It's a good film.
I think there always was a market. I feel there always was a market. 70s saw some great, independence, and those was called parallel cinema, and then mainstream actors started doing parallel cinema, so it's sort of the lines got blurred, right? Chauranga belongs to Indian cinema, and Bollywood is a part of Indian cinema, but Chauranga is not Bollywood. There has been a shift. We've seen films like a Marathi film, beautiful film Killa, being showcased in Gurgaon. So that means it's a healthy trend that's happening. Like you mentioned, Aankho Dekhi, Masan, Killa, Court. These films have been sort of been watched. The challenge lies in, I think, the exhibition model. There are enough distributors also today who would come forward and service your distribution. They may not put up the monies, but they would service your distribution. So the challenge lies in marketing these films, one. Second is exhibition. The consumer is paying approximately 300 to 400 rupees a ticket, plus 150 bucks for popcorn, plus coffee, plus parking. So it's about 600-700 rupees for an independent film. A 3 crore, 4 crore film will find it difficult. So unlike the European distribution setup or art house chains, art house cinemas in the West, India does not have that. So I think once the exhibition, the viewing is changed, where it's going to be viewed, this would really have, you'll see bigger numbers, much bigger numbers, at least 5-10 times more than what it is. Today an independent film goes and stops at about 6-7 crores, business theatrically. But I think the business is at least 20 crores. But many cities we are not able to tap, because people feel people won't watch there. The audience is there, but not at 600 bucks. It's there at probably 150, 200 rupees. Paid news. It's very difficult.
I think that is one of the.
That's a big issue.
Also, the biggest tragedy of, I feel it's really tragedy that where media is supposed to be what encourages any form, anything good art, good cinema, good that suddenly I feel that these media do not have the right to ask and criticize any film and say that, oh, we are having this, because today, I'll give you an example. When we won the National Award for the Best Film and Best Music for I Am, it featured, I won't take the news, you will connect in one of the leading dailies, in the 4th page this tiny, and the Best VFX, which was a very big film, was this much in the front page. But that was 4 years ago. You could even have that space. Now, despite winning the best film, whatever, you will never feature, because what will feature is that And it is sad because very often films that don't have content, so full pages will be about clothes, shoes, everything which is nothing to do with the film. But here we have a film, but we don't have those products that we are not marketing products, we're marketing a story. And that voice, I feel media, instead of supporting the voice, is actually contributing to killing that voice.
I think the entire ecosystem of creating that awareness of independent films does not exist. For mainstream, the whole ecosystem works and works wonderfully for most of the makers and the studios and the publications, because the entire wheel is greased, there's riding on big money, everything you muscle in. But I think 10 years ago people didn't realize it. They're creating a Frankenstein monster and then no one realized it, and today they have to pay for it.
Also, like you mentioned, it does not mean, also in terms of pure commerce, I don't see why should someone pay the same amount of money for something that, like today, if you travel business class or eco class, bad example, but it's different. You have the same destination, you'll reach Paris, but you travel a different route, so you can experience it.
But then we have a chance, we can charge more because our films are very good. In spite of the challenges, you don't lose hope, and I don't know if we are suicidal or we're not commercial filmmakers, but we generally like films ourselves that we carry home. I personally, I know all of them, which make you think, engage, educate, provoke, start a discourse, start a dialogue. I personally like those films as well, just carry them home. I saw Masan, I was thinking about Masan like next 1 week, And certain films, even if they're popcorn, but you need to digest popcorn as well.
We have always been told that, when we did My Brother Nikhil, I remember people telling us a year later that it was before its time. Then when we did I Am, we're like, alright, it's before its time. So we're like, okay, maybe somewhere down the line we will be the first one to do certain kind of film. We'll be the first one to introduce crowdfunding. After that, everyone is. So in a way, it feels good that we started certain things.
Very difficult time at times. Personally, I also lost my mother, I lost my father. I wanted them to watch my film because it's about, in a way, about a village where I have grown up with them. So I lost many things, but somehow, more than me, Onir and Sanjay, they never lost hope. It did take a lot of time, lot more time that we had initially imagined. But somehow we were very, very positive that this is one film that will get made.
But also, just to add, it was in the script lab. So that script writing time also took time. So we actively started pitching the film in 2012. It was in the lab. So the 10th draft came about in 2012.
Yes,
right.
By end of 2011.
Yeah. And then we applied for co-production markets and all, because there's a lot of development process. So if you calculate that time, yes.
But we are generally patient. Right now, the other film that I just finished, I wrote the script in 2000, and the film was in 2016. So it's lucky enough.
Basically, the
Positive
issues,
and patience.
So when we pitch films, we pitch stories. We don't pitch cast attachments. So we probably should try it the other way around, and probably it'll happen faster. But which is why we take our scripts on international platforms as well, because then no one asks you that who's in your film. They want to know what is your film about. Yeah. So which is a very democratic sort of a process. It feels they are giving the writer, the director, the due respect. What is your film about? What's the content? What's the story? What's the setting? What's the world you're setting? And but if you say, I have so and so cast and all, so we've gotten used to that. So I think we kind of by default, if someone says, hey, I want to make a film in 6 months or 1 year, we're the wrong people. Yeah.
Caste system is actually not as Indian if one really looks around, it's just a form of, it signifies a form of divide because someone is considered to be different. So be it worldwide. In India, I suppose you just go to most buildings, you have separate lifts for servants and separate lifts for, that is, and we think that, it's only poor people, village people that believe, but this is also a form of something really regressive. Similarly, forms of discrimination exists because of religion, color, all that everywhere. And right now, especially, I think even more, the world is getting divided. So I feel when people watch it at festivals and everywhere, somewhere people connect that it is. It has to do with that, and it has to do with the power politics that religion, gender, and these are universal. It is set in a space which gives it a certain flavor, texture which people haven't seen, which is fascinating. But each of the emotions is what you are surrounded, actually flooded by these days. Every day all you hear is different aspects of what is there in the film.